Alright, Mother's Day is around the corner, and I'm a mama's boy, and this video is dedicated to all the mothers out there. 15 spring floral fragrances, gift ideas for mom. If you want to find out what they are, then please stay tuned. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Sebastian. Yeah, today I'm talking about spring floral fragrances that are perfect fragrance options for moms for Mother's Day gift giving, or if you're a mom, you're buying a fragrance for yourself. These are perfect, recommended by me. I love these fragrances. Some of them are fresh, some of them are more deeper and richer and more intense, maybe even ambery vanillic experiences, but all really, really great smelling fragrances relying on spring florals. At least I think most of these are spring florals, or there can be floral fragrances that bloom all year round, and of course during the springtime. Are you a fan of floral fragrances? Let me know, put a comment down. And if you're a man and you love floral fragrances, please do let me know. I'd like to find out if you enjoy floral fragrances. I wasn't the biggest fan of floral fragrances. I have opened up to them within the last 3 to 5 years. Really enjoy all kinds of white floral fragrances, and of course some yellow floral fragrances, and you know, tropical floral, you name it. Love them all. So I'm going to let you know what they are. This is not a rank list. Before I do though, if this is your first time tuning into the channel and you haven't subscribed, please click the subscribe button and also click the bell icon so that you'll be notified for future videos and giveaways. Let's get started. The first one I'm going to talk to you about is from the house of FREDERIC MALLE. I'm not going to recommend the more obvious option, which is Carnal Flower. I'm going to go with Lys Mediterranee, or Lee Mediterranee. This is absolutely delicious. Such a great smelling fragrance because you are actually experiencing lilies, lots of them, with a little bit of a spicy tinge to it, almost like cloves, or maybe cinnamon, but more like cloves. But there's actually kind of the stemmy experience, green, and also aquatic marine experience as well. So it features notes of lily, lotus flower, angelica, orange blossom, musk, seawater, ginger, and vanilla. So it does sweeten up a little bit, and there's some spice there. It's the angelica giving us that kind of stemmy green experience, like you're experiencing the lily stems, or the stem it's on. But you know, you've got the lilies there, lots of it. Absolutely love this. It's a total spring flower. I'm used to them for Easter. And then of course the Lotus throws in the kind of watery, what do you call it, experience, like an aquatic marine experience, but they've thrown in some seawater as well. It's a really delicious fragrance. I love this when it's warm outside, and I think it's a perfect Mother's Day fragrance option. Lee Mediterranee at number 1. Again, this is not a ranked list. Moving on to the house of Van Cleef & Arpels. Excuse my bottle is a little stained, unfortunately. There's some leakage on this one. It's Gardenia PETALE. Gardenia PETALE, I think, is a gorgeous floral fragrance option. It's utilizing gardenias, and I believe gardenias bloom all year round, but to me this smells like a, you know, spring floral bouquet. It's delicious. It's really big, very smelly gardenias in your face, but it's lots of gardenias with white flowers. In addition to that, there's jasmine, there's some green notes, there's lily of the valley, there's some citruses for a gorgeous fresh wearing experience that's to die for. Gardenias are my mom's favorite flowers. She absolutely loves the smell of them, and I think this is the kind of fragrance she would like when it's really warm outside, and I think it would be a great Mother's Day fragrance. So Gardenia PETALE at number 2. This next one is such a surprise to me. I can't believe how great it is. This is from the house of Imaginary Authors. This is the Fox and the Flowerbed. Great job, Josh Meyer. He did a great job in this one. So this to me smells like a modern vintage fragrance, because when I smell it and wear it, it reminds me of things I've smelled in the past. So there's kind of like an antique-y kind of experience with this one, but it's all modern, you know. Imaginary Authors is a very modern brand. This has floral touches, obviously, with lots of jasmine, because it's a jasmine fragrance. But there's fresh touches here, there's honey touches, and then some watery ozonic touches, but it features notes of jasmine. There's tulip note, mountain air, honey, thistle, olibanum, and pink pepper. It's a great smelling fragrance. I'm surprised how great it is, and it's a joy to wear. It does get a little animalic, a little indolic, which jasmine is known to do, but it's beautiful, really beautiful fragrance. The Fox and the Flowerbed, I think it's a great smelling spring kind of an experience. Moving on to the house of Le Labo, it's Lee 41, another lily fragrance. I'm obsessed with lilies, and it totally reminds me of Easter time. I mean, we had lilies everywhere, whether it was in a vase or you know, in a potted plant form. But we'd buy them because it would, you know, freshen up the rooms with its kind of floral spiciness, and I love that about it. And I'm mentioning cloves for Lee's Mediterranee or Lee Mediterranee. Same with Leaf 41 from Le Labo. There's that kind of clovey spiciness that Lee's lilies have. But Leaf 41 has notes of tuberose, lily, jasmine, vanilla, musk, and woods. So it does eventually settle to kind of a sweet, musky, woody experience, but it's all white flowers up top. It's delicious, and I think it would be a great smelling experience for Mother's Day, or wearing experience I should say. Unfortunately, several years ago, like many years ago, I was visiting my mom's house and I took this bottle up there. She does like this one. Sadly, I was doing some photographs for Instagram and I dropped it. But anyway, she actually bought me another bottle. Go figure. Anyway, it's Leaf 41, a great fragrance from the house of Le Labo. Moving on to the house of Christian Louboutin, and I haven't forgotten, I do need to do a rank list of the entire collection. That's coming very soon. This is LOUBIKISS, this one right here. LOUBIKISS is a floral fragrance experience. Obviously, it's a floral fragrance, you know, video for you for Mother's Day, spring floral fragrances. This is jasmine, tuberose, musk, and woods, and it's actually really gorgeous. To me, it's kind of a takeoff on something like Carnal Flower, but with the addition of jasmine, and of course this one has that musk and woodsy notes here. It's a little deep, but not so deep that it's not fresh, so you kind of have a balance of, you know, freshness here, and of course some deep touches, but it's actually quite delicious. The only thing I don't like about it is this particular bottle. I do like their bottles. They're a little gaudy, but not over the top gaudy, but this one, sadly, I don't care for as much. But as a smell, it's quite gorgeous, and if you like white floral fragrances, you definitely have to try LOUBIKISS. Are you guys fans of that collection? I have one video on the channel of their last 3 fragrances, and as I said, I'm going to do a top 10 because there's a total of 10 fragrances in this collection of bottles like this. I think they're all pretty good. Alright, moving on to the house of BDK Parfums. This is French Bouquet, this one right here. So French Bouquet is a modern take on an aldehydic floral fragrance experience. So if you know fragrances like Calèche or Chanel No. 5, you're gonna kind of know what kind of a fragrance this is. There's definitely classic touches here. It does remind me of classic fragrances, and fragrances like my mom's mom used to wear. Maybe even she wore fragrances like this. Maybe like YSL's Rive Gauche Parfum. But it's actually quite beautiful. It's very aldehydic, so it's got major effervescence about it. It's fizzy, it's airy, but it's loads of aldehydes. There's rose, there's jasmine, orange blossom, there's coriander, bergamot, labdanum, sandalwood, and tobacco. But it's not overwhelming. It does add that little dirtiness that tobacco ashiness has, but it's woody and a little ambery. There's some freshness and spice from the bergamot and the coriander, but it's lots of flowers and aldehydes. French Bouquet from the house of BDK Parfums. Do you guys know that one? Let me know. I do have one video on the channel of that particular house. Go catch that, and I do talk about that fragrance a little more in extent. Moving on to the house of Amouage. It's a Lilac Love. This particular fragrance definitely features a spring floral. I mean, I've been seeing lilacs sold in stores recently, lots of them, and I even bought some, and I absolutely love lilacs. It's just, it totally reminds me of spring, like it's a major spring experience, because those flowers bloom and you've got them for about 2 weeks and then they're gone, and you know, they're all, you know, cultivated and cut off the trees. But Lilac Love is more warm and ambery. It's got lilac, heliotrope, cacao, vanilla, tonka beans, orris, gardenia, peony, jasmine, rose, sandalwood, and patchouli. So it's actually a deeper, richer experience, maybe a warm experience, and a little gourmandy experience as well. There's a little bit of a nutty, almondy experience here from the heliotrope. It's very powdery, over the top powdery, and of course it has the vanilla, tonka, and cacao experience as well. Really delicious fragrance. If your mom likes the idea of or if you like the idea of lilacs and you like the idea of gourmand, definitely check this out. I think it's absolutely delicious. It's Lilac Love from the house of Amouage for a beautiful fragrance wearing experience. And then moving on to another lilac fragrance option. This is a fresh green take on lilacs. This is a Lilac a Day from the house of Wilhelm Parfumerie. So good. Wears so fresh, so green, so beautiful. pretty, but man, I absolutely love this one, and I don't care if it's lilacs. I guess lilacs kind of have an association of old, but this stuff, absolutely in love with it. I can't get enough of this particular smell. But it's blue lilac, spring freesia, jasmine, galbanum, black amber, and rose. Eventually it does get a little ambery and rosy, but it does have the galbanum, which is giving us a lot of green touches. And I find lilacs to have a little bit of a greenness anyway, so it accentuates the greenness in the lilac with the galbanum note. Great fragrance. A lilac a day at number 8. Moving on to the house of Acampora. Azzurro di Capri. So delicious. Really, really great smelling fragrance with orange blossom, jasmine, musk, bergamot, mandarin orange, and amber. So it's basically, imagine orange blossom and jasmine explosion, you know? Overdose of those two flowers, that's what it is. Orange blossom to me is totally spring, and of course, you know, the orange blossoms blossom, and then you eventually end up with the fruit itself. So this is capturing that along with the jasmine to create a very, very beautiful and white floral experience, but very, very potent with the smell. But a little, you know, citrusy as well, because the orange blossom in here definitely has a kind of a floral citrus experience. Azzurro di Capri, it's a long-lasting experience as well. This is the Extrait de Parfum concentration version, and I love that about that fragrance. It's amazing. Alright, moving on to the house of Creed, it's Wind Flowers. This is a brand new fragrance. Do you guys know this one? So this to me is lots of flowers, but there's some recognizability here with this particular fragrance. I'm going to tell you what it reminds me of. It's brand spanking new, it's very, very floral, it's very spring, and I think it's perfect for a mom to wear and appreciate or gift to mom as well. So it features notes of jasmine, orange blossom, rose, tuberose, peach, musk, praline, and sandalwood. So it kind of lightly hints at something like Chanel's Coco Mademoiselle, but to me, this reminds me more of Atropé Rebs from the house of Louis Vuitton in comparison to Chanel Coco Mademoiselle. Coco Mademoiselle had that patchouli, which this does not have. Once you add that patchouli in here, it will definitely remind you a lot of Coco Mademoiselle. But if you've ever smelled Atropé Rebs from the house of Louis Vuitton, you'll see what I'm talking about. Wind Flowers, it's a great floral experience, very spring-like, and also a little gourmand, very lightly gourmand with that praline note in the base notes. Moving on to the house of Dusita, Parfums Dusita. It's Fleur de Lalita, one of the best floral fragrances for me. Absolute love for this one, and also it's white lilies, or lilies once again, and it also features exotic flowers, but I also love this about the galbanum here. It's that green contrast thrown in with all the flowers to kind of add a greenness, a stemminess, a bitterness to the beautiful prettiness of the floral notes. So it's white lilies, jasmine, exotic flowers, galbanum, magnolia, ylang-ylang, ambrette, ambergris. It does get musky, and I like that about this one. I love musky fragrances with flowers and greens added. The ambrette in here is definitely the musky type, or the musky note, and I love that about this particular fragrance. It's absolutely a great fragrance to wear. This one is actually also perfect for summer. Liberal spray and you'll be set, but I think it'll be a great Mother's Day fragrance. Fleur de Lalita from the house of Parfums Dusita. This next fragrance is spring in a bottle, but in the green form, a green floral spring experience. Going to the house of PENHALIGON'S, this is Bluebell. Supposedly Princess Diana's favorite fragrance. I don't know how true this is, but like last year I read an article somewhere and it said some of her favorite beauty products, and this was apparently one of her favorite fragrances to wear. Whatever it is, if it is or not, it's a great, you know, representation of hyacinth in a fragrance, and I feel like hyacinth is major spring experience. I love the smell of hyacinth flowers, absolutely do, and it's captured here. Although this does have a little bit of a classic or an older fragrance experience, but once you get past that, you will notice how great the hyacinth in this particular fragrance smells. It's hyacinth, lily of the valley, galbanum, cloves, and cinnamon, and of course galbanum is featured here as well. Hyacinth to me is a green flower. It has a green experience, not the color but the smell. Also with the lily of the valley I get a green experience as well, so throw in more greens, it's a very green experience with this one. And the cloves and cinnamon adds this unique spicy touch, but it doesn't smell like holiday spices. It's just a nice contrast with the flowers and the galbanum. Great fragrance. This is Bluebell from the house of PENHALIGON'S. If you don't know that one, do check it out. Moving on to the house of Diptyque, it's Dosan in the EDP concentration. This one to me is a kind of, I guess, Diptyque's take on something like Carnal Flower. I don't know which came first, but most likely Carnal Flower came first. But this is a great experience with the tuberose. It's lots of tuberose. There's orange blossom and jasmine. So these are the main floral notes in this particular fragrance. Eventually it does have some woodiness. It does have some greenness. And I feel like there's some light ambery experience in the base as well. So to kind of like, you know, prolong the life of this fragrance, because it's all white flowers. But it is an overdose of white flowers. And as I said, it's tuberose, orange blossom, and jasmine. Dosan is a great fragrance. I'm showcasing my blue bottle, the limited edition blue bottle that just came out. But it comes in a, you know, normal bottle. And it does come in 2 different concentrations. It comes in eau de toilette and also eau de parfum. And this is the eau de parfum. Moving on to the house of Panouge. I've recommended this for almonds. And I'm recommending it here today for Datura. It's a very spring flower experience for me, but it's going into the gourmand direction once again. This is Datura Amaretti. And it's a sweet, nutty, amber floral fragrance with almonds, datura flower, biscuit accord, cherries, ylang-ylang, musk, cedar, and mandarin. It's really, really delicious. You definitely experience the datura, and then it's blended with all the kind of gourmandish touches. More in this case like almonds and a little breadiness from the biscuits and the cherry fruitiness, but the combination is just really, really, really delicious. Eventually, I started loving this one, and I didn't really like it as much at the beginning because, you know, fragrances do grow on you eventually, and this one did, and I think it's a great spring experience, spring floral experience with a little more of a deepness and more kind of like a gourmand experience. So Datura Amaretti is a wonderful, wonderful fragrance. If you don't know it, it's from the house of Panouge. We do have a whole, or I do have a whole video on Panouge fragrances. This collection, the Matier Libre collection of fragrances. You can go catch that. And remember, I said this is not a rank list. We're going to end the video with this particular spring floral fragrance. This is featuring Narcissus. This is Narcisse Taiji, this one right here. And I just recently featured this in a video on compliments. Ladies, I don't know, ladies love this one on me for some reason. If you haven't caught that video over the weekend, go catch it, because I talk about 22 fragrances that ladies love the smell of on me. This one has garnered me 3 or 4 compliments, and surprisingly, it's not like a far-reaching fragrance, so it's not like this big projection, but sometimes I come close to some ladies and they actually smell what I'm wearing and they react positively to this. So it does feature Narcissus. Also, it features hay, patchouli, musk, leather, bran, ginger, pear, tuberose. It's not a gourmand experience. It's just a very, very unique, kind of minerally, a little animalic Narcissus flower experience. I was recently in a place like 2 months ago, I think it was. It was very early spring. I went to Floral Gardens here in the South Bay in the peninsula. It's this big mansion. And when I was there, there was this whole field of Narcissus flowers. Man, I was crazy because I love these flowers. They're just most beautiful, and they have this very unique smell, and it's definitely captured here, and you know, and then some with the additional notes that are in here. So Narcisse Taiji is a great spring floral option. If you don't know that one, go check it out. Again, it's not this big fragrance. It's not like a loud fragrance. If you're looking for projection and things like that, it's not what that is. But it's a great fragrance that, you know, garners me compliments because it's a green, yellow floral experience. Anyway, that's the list I have for you today. 15 spring floral fragrances perfect for Mother's Day. Great gift options for mom if she's looking for a new perfume, or if you're the mom, if you're looking for your new perfume for yourself. Let me know if you've tried these fragrances. Are you a fan of them? And let me know other spring floral fragrances. Do you have any other options? I was mostly focusing, as I said, on spring flowers. Again, there's some flowers that bloom all year round, but they come off very spring to me. Let me know some additional fragrances so I can check into them. Either way, guys, thanks so much for watching today's video. If you have any questions or comments, please do list below. Please like this video. Please share it. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye. I'm offering up one bonus fragrance, and again, I think this is featuring a flower that's not necessarily considered a spring flower, but I wanted to highlight it because I think it's a great smelling fragrance, and it's also a little more intense. And if you're looking for something that has this big projection and, you know, the clouds and the sillage things and things like that, definitely check this one out. This is Amouage's Portrayal Woman for a little darker experience with a kind of a spring floral touch. It's jasmine, tobacco, elemi resin, and vanilla, and it's a great contrast. Jasmine with tobacco, they marry perfectly together. So somebody was asking me recently if this kind of smells like jasmine et cigarette from État Libre Orange. I don't think so. This does have a lot more deeper, a little more ambery experience, whereas I don't get that from the État Libre Orange jasmine et cigarette. Also, the jasmine in here smells different than the jasmine in that fragrance, but this is very, very deep and rich and very, very long lasting. Also, I think it's very unisex because the tobacco kind of tones down the feminine touches. I think tobacco is a very masculine note to me, and so if you like the idea of wearing florals but you always find them to be a little too feminine, try something like this. Portrayal Woman. This is from the House of Amouage, and I was speaking about men finding flowers to be a little feminine, but either way, this is a great smelling fragrance. I absolutely think it's a great option from the House of Amouage. Portrayal Woman is my bonus fragrance, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in today. Happy Mother's Day to all. I appreciate you tuning in. Stay tuned for another video tomorrow. Bye-bye.